This is a follow-up video to different pronunciations for the T. If you haven't watched that video, you should, because everything that was learned there is going to be reviewed via testing in this video. First, what we're going to do is look at a list of words and decide how the T is pronounced in the word. First, this word. How do you pronounce that T? It's at the beginning of the word, therefore it is pronounced with the real T sound, t, time. This word. How to pronounce this T? This T comes between two vowel sounds. Therefore it is pronounced as the flap, tap T, or in other words, the D sound. Water. Water. How do you pronounce the T in this word? It comes at the end of a syllable in a consonant cluster, FT. Therefore, as it is part of this cluster, it is pronounced as a real T sound. Softer. T, t, softer. How do you pronounce the T in this word? In this word, it is followed by a schwa and an N sound. Therefore, it is pronounced as a stop. Fountain. Fountain. How do you pronounce the T in this word? It ends the word. It is not part of a consonant cluster. Therefore, it is a stop. Carpet. Carpet. How do you pronounce this word? It is part of a consonant cluster. Therefore, it is pronounced as a real T. T, st, st, string, string. How do you pronounce the T's here? They come between two vowel sounds. Therefore, it is the flap, tap T, or the D sound. Splatter, splatter. How do you pronounce the T here? It is beginning a stressed syllable. Therefore, it is pronounced as the real T. T. Until. Until. Let's compare these two words. In one of the words, the double T is pronounced as a real T, T sound. In the other word, it is the flap or tap T, in other words, the D sound. Which is which? The first word. The stress falls on the second syllable, which is begun with the T sound. Therefore, it is a true T, a real T, T sound. Attack, attack. In the second word, it begins an unstressed syllable, and it falls between two vowel sounds. Attitude, attitude. Therefore, it is the flap, tap T, or D, the D sound. Let's look at some sentences now. How do you pronounce the first T? The T at the end of the word, what? Well, the T is at the end of the word. It is not part of a consonant cluster, and it does not link to a next word that begins with a vowel or a diphthong. Therefore, it must be a stop. The second word. How do you pronounce that T? It begins the word. Therefore, it is the T, actual T sound. What? Time. What? Time. And the next T. Also, it's beginning a word. Therefore, it is the actual T sound. What time tomorrow? And the answer? How do you pronounce that T? Again, it is ending a word, and the word that comes after does not begin with a vowel or diphthong sound. Therefore, it's a stop. At 7. At 7. What time tomorrow? At 7. This sentence. How do you pronounce that T? It's at the end of a word, but it does link to the next word, which begins with a vowel sound. Therefore, the sound comes between two vowel sounds. It is then going to be pronounced as the flap, tap, T, or in other words, the D sounds. I'm outa, I'm outa. Now, in this particular phrase, the word of is generally reduced to simply being the schwa sound. No consonant. I'm outta here. I'm outta here. How do you pronounce the T in this sentence? Not the TH. It begins a word, so it would be the T, real T sound. But as I said in the different T pronunciations video, it is a reduced word, and it might be reduced to the point of actually having a voiced sound there. D, d, rather than t, t. I'm going to the bank. I'm going to the bank. I'm going to the bank. How do you pronounce the T's in this sentence? In the first word, it begins the word, so it is the T, actual T sound, tell. The next T is part of the TR consonant cluster, and also it's beginning a word. Again, it's the T, real T sound. Tell me the truth. How do you pronounce the T's in this sentence? In the first word, it is part of a consonant cluster at the beginning of a syllable. It is pronounced as a real T, T, tree, chemistry, chemistry. How do you pronounce the next T? It's at the end of a word, not part of a consonant cluster, but it does connect to the next word, which begins with a vowel sound. Therefore, it would be d, d, the flap T sound or the D sound. At 8, at 8. I just gave away the next word. How do you pronounce that T? Well, the next word, anatomy, does begin with a vowel, but there's a comma there, which means we're not going to connect it. Therefore, it is a T at the ends of a word, not part of a consonant cluster. It's a stop. At 8, at 8. Chemistry's at 8. How do you pronounce the T in the next word? Again, it is a T between two vowel sounds. Anatomy, anatomy. Therefore, it is the flap T sound or D, anatomy. And again, the T in the next word is pronounced as a stop. It comes at the end of the word. At. And finally, it begins the word. Therefore, it is pronounced as a real T, T, 10. How do you pronounce the T's in this sentence? The first T, it's followed by the schwa and N sounds. Therefore, it is a stop. An acquaintance, an acquaintance, an acquaintance. And the next T, it begins a word. Therefore, it is T, the actual T sound. An acquaintance told me. How do you pronounce the T's in this sentence? The first T finishes a word, but it is part of a consonant cluster. Therefore, it is pronounced as the actual T. I slept, t, t, I slept. The next T, again, it is part of a consonant cluster. At the end of a word, it is pronounced T as an actual T. I slept well last. And finally, the T here is the end of the word, not part of a consonant cluster. It is a stop. I slept well last night. How do you pronounce the T in this sentence? It's an ending T. It's part of a consonant cluster, but remember NT was the exception consonant cluster. So the T here is a stop. I was sent, I was sent, I was sent home. I was sent home. I hope this has helped to clarify this pretty complicated situation, how to pronounce a T, depending on where it falls in a word or in a sentence. That's it, and thanks so much for using Rachel's English.